and welcome to Financially Speaking with SFM. My name is Cynthia DeFazio. I'm joined today by Mike Allen and Dave Allen. They're the co-founders of Security Financial Management. Mike, let me start with you. How are you today?
Doing great, Cindy. Cynthia, we're really excited. Does anybody ever call you Cindy?
Yes, actually, so you can call me either.
Do I get in
don't
trouble?
mind.
Okay, I didn't want
you
to
don't
get
get
hit.
in trouble at all.
Well, we're really excited to be here, and we're really enjoying doing the show.
Excellent. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to have you back is what I'm trying to say. And David, how are you today?
Doing awesome. Thank you.
Absolutely. And gentlemen, obviously we have so much to talk about. I don't want to miss any time today because we're talking about a very important topic. People that are entering the retirement years need to have a plan in place. Let me ask you, Mike, is it a staggering number of people that do not have a retirement plan?
There are so many people. I don't know the percentages, but quite a few people do not have financial plans. They don't have, we like putting together a roadmap for our clients. And the accumulation phase is really important, and a lot of people don't do that. Some very, very smart individuals coined a phrase, it's not what you earn, it's what you keep. Who did that, Dave?
I'm not sure.
You don't know?
I think it might have been you.
We're gonna
No,
have
I
to
think
Google.
it was you on a radio show. But it's true, though. It's not what you earn, it's what you keep.
Yeah.
Of the clients that we feel have been the most successful, it's not the people that have made millions of dollars every year. It's the people who started putting money away every month or every paycheck. I have some clients that actually feel a little guilty because when they were younger, had a new baby, they were saving money and putting money away, and their friends were going out and partying and having fun and everything, and they're kind of giving them a hard time. So when they got to now, 30, 40 years later, and they're doing
the ones
fine,
doing well now.
right? And then
Yeah.
their friends aren't doing as well, so they feel a little sad for them and
Well,
want to help them out. Actually, I'm like, well, let's make sure you guys are okay first.
But there's a happy median all
Yeah.
the time, too. You don't have to be a hermit and stay in your house and not enjoy your life. You just have to live within your means.
Right.
Yeah.
That's probably the
absolutely.
most important thing, is living within your means and knowing, if you start really young, you don't need to save everything you're earning because you're starting. You got time on your side.
Sure.
Time is probably one of the biggest factors in investing. If you've got time on your side, we always say when your money's growing and now you've got your money that's being added to it, but when your money that is growing because of growth becomes greater than the amount that you're actually putting every year, you've accomplished something that a lot of people don't, is your portfolio is working for you now. So
Sure.
that's very, very important.
Compounding.
Yeah, compound interest is a real thing. What Mike was saying about some of our clients today that have the biggest portfolios, they weren't the biggest earners in life. They just started on time. I mean, we have some people that were school teachers that have, well over $1 million to $2 million saved because they put money away early and they let it work for them.
Well, you know what it reminds me of, Dave, not to interrupt you, but it's the story of the tortoise and the hare.
Oh, yeah.
When you think
It's
about it
real.
from that perspective, the people that did a little bit at a time, just like the tortoise, he was crawling along, ended up winning the race.
No doubt.
Absolutely.
That's very, very appropriate
We also
for
have
this
we have
business.
business owners as well who the big part of their accumulation phase was they're building their business. I mean, we're business
Yeah.
owners and
Yeah.
we have to do it, but we have to force ourselves to build around it. So one day these people could be a fence company, could be a painting company. That's not the only thing that they have. So they don't have to do a fire sale to retire.
Save around it.
Sure.
Save
Save in
around it.
addition.
Very important.
Sure, that
Because
makes
what
sense.
if you run into your business being not as valuable as you thought it was going to be, and you put all your eggs in one basket? So just like
Exactly.
diversification, you got to have your business, you got to have your various different types of investments to diversify among.
Sure, absolutely. Well, Dave, I want to ask you just a little bit about the history of the company. Let's talk about that.
Sure.
How did it start?
Okay, well, we've said it in previous shows, but for those first listening for the first time, Frank Lavallee and I were neighborhood buddies together at 13, 14 years old. And Mike was my little brother that we used to make fun of and beat up. I'm kidding.
Just a little bit.
But no. But we started as very young kids being friends. We were always motivated and we played sports together and we lived right near each other. As we grew up, we stayed really good pals. He played basketball, I didn't. He's taller than me. And then after college, we decided that, you know what, let's do a business together. Well, we didn't quite do it right away. We started with the same company. worked 3 or 4 years there, and then said, it's time to start our own company. And now, today, it's grown to where we have over 20 advisors that meet clients and work with them on their financial plan and their investment planning. 2 locations, the Melbourne, Florida area, which is in Viera, which is right near the Space Center, Titusville. It's Brevard County.
Okay.
And then we also have a big office in Orlando, Florida area, right in the, if you know Orlando, it's the Baldwin Park area,
Okay. Okay.
which is dead middle of Orlando.
Excellent. Mike, let me ask you a question. Your passion for helping others, where does that come from?
I think probably my parents.
Yeah.
They've always helped people. Our mother started a home for unwed mothers in Melbourne, and it's been like 40 years, over 40 years now. So that started it. And before I got into this business, Dave and Frank, they started working with special needs planning, families who have children with special needs. And that really piqued my interest to get in there, because I thought they were just selling life insurance in the beginning, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
Obviously it wasn't. And,
Yeah, absolutely.
And it brought me in, and Dave dragged me in about 1998, and I haven't been able to get away, and I've enjoyed every minute of it.
This
Mostly
business,
every
if you
minute.
don't care about people and you don't have a passion for the business, you're not going to last long in it,
Yeah.
because there's a lot more to it. But the root of it has to be that you have passion to help people.
Yeah, we love people just calling in. Like I had a client actually today said she wants to buy a house. It's either buy a house or rent.
Okay.
So we talked it through, and I said, you have plenty of liquidity. Why don't you buy a house? Then she's like, well, should I get a mortgage or not? Well, you've got a bunch of money in a savings account, and it's not doing much for you right now. So we'll analyze that to see what's best for you.
Sure,
But
sure.
it's great. It's not just about investments. It's about finance. It's about your life, and we love dealing with our clients and helping them through all the different areas.
Thank you, Mike. Dave, we're about ready to open up the phone lines to the viewers at home for the very first time this week. Can you tell them what they can expect to receive by calling in?
Absolutely. Those who call in during the show will receive a complimentary financial plan, and that financial plan, I'd say it's best suited, and some people that will really benefit from it. If you are 3 to 5 years from retirement, you are approaching or are in retirement, or you have a portfolio that's $400,000 or $500,000. You will benefit greatly from this, or we at least hope you do. It will be a custom plan, and we're going to touch on every aspect of your financial life, from retirement planning to investment planning to studying your risk personality. Very
Estate
broad-based.
planning.
Estate planning, your wills and your trusts. So if you come in, we will analyze that. Will be custom to you, and it is complimentary for all that call in during this show.
Great. Thank you so much. To the viewers at home, once again, the phone lines are now open. That number to call is 877-740-6553. You've worked your entire life to get to the retirement phase of your life. Why not take the opportunity to call in today and just have a consultation? It's completely complimentary. The number to call is 877-740-6553. We have to take a very short commercial break, but don't go anywhere. When we come back, we're going to have so much more about how to plan your perfect retirement. Please stay tuned.
How confident are you in your current financial plan? Do you know with certainty how the recent market volatility will affect your future hopes and dreams? How much are you paying in taxes? And how much are you losing to unnecessary high fees? You didn't work to save this money so that you could spend your time worried in retirement. Now is the time to take charge of your finances so you can feel confident about your future. Call in during the next 30 minutes of today's show only to set up an absolutely complimentary, no obligation, full-blown financial review that will result in your own customized written plan. This is a $999 value that we're giving away complimentary to the first 10 people who respond. We'll start with a full-blown analysis of what you already have, by running a report to untangle how much you are currently paying in fees, how you're allocated for risk, and what it's costing to work with your current advisor. Next, we'll identify your goals. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Where do you want to go, and who do you hope to go there with? Is your current financial plan set up to get you there without mishap? Let's design a roadmap to create a financial plan you can follow with confidence. Get the piece that so many people are missing from their retirement. Find out how having a written plan can make a difference to your retirement dreams. Call now to schedule your complimentary, no obligation, full-blown financial review today.
And welcome back to Financially Speaking with SFM. My name is Cynthia DeFazio. I'm joined today by Mike Allen and Dave Allen. They're the co-founders of Security Financial Management. Gentlemen, a wonderful show we're having today. Again, talking about a very important topic, planning for retirement. Let's talk a little bit about being 3 to 5 years away from retirement. Dave, what are some important things that should be thought about during that phase of life?
Well, that's a good time to, you need to do all your hard work ahead of that. So if you have, if you're just starting at 3 to 5 years, I think you're a little late. But it's never too late to start.
Okay.
So at that point, hopefully you've accumulated some wealth. You have some assets in your 401k. You've got some assets in various other savings and bank accounts. So at this point, we bring it all together, do a study, and basically it's like you got the clay, now we can mold it. Let's mold it toward those years. You need to start thinking about, a lot of people at that point start thinking, should I become really conservative at this point? Well, you need to invest first off, according to your risk tolerance.
Okay.
And if you're a naturally aggressive person, then you're going to be okay. But you need to understand your circumstances at that time. So as far as, most importantly, is you look at it and say, I'm conservative. Well, you don't want to get completely conservative at that point because you still have to outrun inflation.
Sure.
You're approaching retirement, and let's say you're 65 years old. Look at your family history. Do you have some grandmas and grandpas that have made it out to their 90s? You've got 30 years this money or more for this money to last. So you want to make sure you can outrun inflation. Inflation's running 2 to 3%. You're earning 1% on your money. We've said in previous show that you're going broke safely. So very, very important to make sure your money continues to grow. Things you should also think about at this point, you're approaching periods of time, you might have seen some family members that have had long-term care issues. Maybe it's time to start thinking about you. And long-term care is not just about buying an insurance policy, it's about having your wills and your trusts and powers of attorney and everything in line. That's an important time to start getting that in line. Your employee benefits, well, that's going to end when you leave your employer. So what's the next stage for your insurance needs, your health insurance needs, maybe some other dentals and things those are, even though we are not your employee benefits provider, we understand them very well. So those are some important topics that you really start thinking about. Really dig in and then start strategically looking at your goal. Okay, what do I need at retirement? Okay, 3 to 5 years, you can kind of, 20, 30 years out, you don't know what you're going to need yet. You don't know what life's going to throw at you yet. But 3 to 5 years, you have a pretty good idea of what your fixed costs are going to be. So now, does my money match my need? So we'll plug it into a program. Our financial plan and goal plan will determine, are my goals in line with the amount of money that I have?
And sometimes it says that they're super good, and we say, okay, well, maybe have a little more fun.
Yeah. Go enjoy.
Don't
Go
worry
have
so much
fun.
about your kids. Go have some fun and set your plan that way. So we look at that, and we want to make sure that, it's not just about the money. It's about what you want to do during retirement. So many people say, okay, I want to retire. Well, what are you going to do after that?
Yeah,
You're going to golf every day? Maybe. Or are you going to
Find a hobby.
do volunteer
Hobby,
work and things like that?
volunteer, yeah.
Very important.
A lot of people never get a hobby because they're so worried about working and savings.
Yeah.
In previous shows we've talked about, if you've already won the game, why should you stress so much? So why continue to be that super aggressive strategy of owning all aggressive stocks or whatever? It's time to let your money work for you.
Sure.
If you already won the game, think about, from the March Madness thing. If you're 20 points up with 5 minutes left in the game or 3 minutes left in the game, are you going to continue to push as hard? You might put some other people in. You don't want your best players to get hurt.
Or like in a football game when they fumble with a couple seconds left in the game, the other team wins.
Exactly. So if you've already won
Take
the
the
game,
knee.
I'm not sure about that one.
No, take your knee.
Yeah, take a knee.
It makes perfect sense. And when you think about it, I love listening to you both because obviously when you enter the retirement phase of your life, you don't want to see your life go backwards. You want to be able to enjoy your life to the same level of what you have today, and then maybe even increased, if you will. So I have to ask you, Mike, do you ever recommend that your clients test drive their retirement to see what it feels like?
Yeah, actually, we had that last year.
Really?
With the COVID.
Okay.
A lot of people didn't go to work.
Yeah.
So it was a test drive for a lot of people. And makes some spouses said, I want you to keep working.
Yeah. This is a total change. You're around all the time.
Yeah, I don't like you here as much.
So,
Thought
or
I
you better
used to
find
like
something
you,
to do.
But when you're every day, I don't really like you that much.
And a part-time job maybe a good thing. So it's tough when you've been either one or both spouses have been working their whole lives and spending in the morning and evening together, but during the whole day. So they may want to have some hobbies or do part-time work. We want them to have the choice of doing the part-time work, but
Just volunteer somewhere.
yeah.
Yeah.
Get out of the house.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it was a-
Find your purpose.
Get out
your
of each other's
passion.
faces.
It truly
Yeah.
was a test drive.
That makes sense. Well, I have to ask you, Dave, obviously a very important question is how important is it to factor in taxes during retirement?
Taxes are very important, especially if most people have been saving their whole life in their 401k.
Yeah.
And these days, if it gets in your checkbook, normally it gets spent, right? So one of the best ways to save is to have it taken out of your paycheck, put into your 401k, and let it be out of your control. So what happens is when you do that, you're saving everything pre-tax and everything's growing tax deferred. So we've called it lump sum illusion, basically, in the sense that, okay, I think I need $1 million when I retire to be able to, but is that worth, in your 401k, is it really $1 million? It's not, because that's pre-tax money. As taxes, we think that with all the government spending that's been going on and the COVID relief programs, that we expect that taxes are going to slightly increase.
Okay.
We expect inflation to increase. And you really need to do some tax planning to understand is the amount of money I have appropriate and can it still, after tax, provide the benefit I need to retire and enjoy my life.
And it's saving with intention.
Sure.
So intentional saving, saying, you know what, maybe I might be paying some taxes right now, but part of my 401k, maybe not all pre-taxed, maybe some under the Roth.
Yeah.
Or if you have
Some after-tax money.
yeah, and after-tax money too.
Yeah,
Many retirement plans have it. If you've maxed out what you can put into the 401k part, you can go after-tax money, or you do Roth conversions. So even if you don't need to take the money now out of your IRAs, you can gradually take it out. So again, it's making sure you have diversification in your tax strategy as
That
well.
makes sense.
Very important.
Right, there's
Okay.
diversification of the way your money's invested.
Yeah.
But as Mike said, there's diversification in the way you're invested tax-wise. Some pre-tax, some post-tax, some non-qualified money in your bank accounts or and then also a diversification and having the amount of reserve money so that you can leave the longer-term money alone for short-term needs.
That's why it's so great to collaborate with the tax advisors.
Most definitely.
Having a good relationship with them because they're part of the client's team. So usually it's the main estate planning, financial planning, insurance planning, and tax planning. They need to work together. So it's really important for our clients to make sure that they're working with a CPA or an estate planning attorney that wants to collaborate and communicate with the financial planner.
That makes sense. Well, gentlemen, this is the perfect time for us to reopen up the phone lines to the viewers at home. Would you agree?
I totally agree.
To the viewers at home, the phone number to call is on your screen. That number is 877-740-6553. For the callers during today's show, we are offering you a complimentary, comprehensive financial plan. All you have to do is pick up the phone and call. That number is 877-740-6553. And again, we have to take a very short commercial break, but don't go anywhere. When we come back, we're going to have so much more about how to plan your perfect retirement. Please stay tuned.
As a good saver, you've been putting away money during your working years. Studies find that the biggest fear of retirees is running out of money. Market volatility isn't just the downward movement of stock prices, it's the size and frequency of change. The more dramatic the ups and downs, the higher the volatility. This can put savers who are newly retired or a few years away from being retired at greater risk. Today's generation of retirees is not receiving traditional pensions as our parents or grandparents did. Instead, we have retirement accounts such as 401ks or 403bs. These accounts typically expose your money to market risk. The last thing you want right before retirement is to lose a portion of the money you need for income. But how do you turn these accounts into a retirement income? Is it safe to keep all your retirement money sitting in the stock market? The last thing you want is to lose a portion of the money you need for income due to market loss. By working with a financial professional, you can learn how to turn a portion of your savings into an income stream for life and income for the life of your spouse if you're married. We all have moments in our lives when we wish we had taken action sooner. Don't let procrastination reign on your retirement parade. Act now before it's too late. Please call our office to set up your no-cost, no-obligation retirement income review today.
And welcome back to Financially Speaking with SFM. My name is Cynthia DeFazio. I'm joined today by Mike Allen and Dave Allen. They're the co-founders of Security Financial Management. Gentlemen, a wonderful show that we're having today, and of course talking about the importance of planning for retirement. But I do want to dive in a little bit today, right now, Dave, if we could, and let's talk about the stock market. Let's talk about the bear market, the bull market, and where we are currently.
Okay. Well, in general, let's think about planning in general.
Okay.
When you're hitting that 3 to 5 years, or you're at the distribution stage and you're living off your money, you need to not forget that that market can go up and down. There were a fair amount of people that might have been surprised last March or March of 2020 when the Dow went from 26,000 to 18,000 in an extremely short period of time, and then made bad mistakes at that point. Some made bad mistakes and pulled money out to the side at the wrong time. And then all you once saw it come back and surpass it and ended up at 30,000 on the Dow. So the most important thing is be invested appropriately, understanding the risks, and not having everything in that category.
Okay.
You need to be, we beat on diversification, that's really important.
Okay.
And that's when we do our financial plan, where we have bad timing. And that really rang true last year when the markets went down, and have clients come in and say, okay, how are you during average rate of return in bad timing? And bad timing is, it's good to be able to show clients that they're going to be okay. Most of the time they're going to be okay, and help them to, it's behavioral
Not
finance.
make bad decisions.
Yeah, make bad decisions.
Bad decisions during strange times.
Sure.
But also I always try to make people remember, people tend to forget when things are going really, really good.
Sure.
That you can have rough times, and that's what makes the stock market. That's why, risk reward.
Sure.
So that's not a bad thing. And, I'll tell you what, there was a lot of wealth being made by those markets drifting down like that, because a lot of people said, I had money sitting on the sideline. They jumped in when the Dow was 18,000 and ended up 30,000. So there was also some games that were played too. I thought people got a little bit wild with some of these GameStop issues and some of these, some people, younger people, I think, and I think it's pretty much everybody, started treating the stock market a little bit like the casino.
Like a video game.
Yeah, like a video
if you
game.
will.
Don't do that. That's not what we do. We manage your core assets. And we're not going to be the one that's going to call you on the phone and say, hey, I got this hot stock I need you to buy. That's not. If you have something you want to discuss it with us, we're going to discuss that with you, as well as we're going to discuss a mortgage, we're going to discuss a lease on your car, whatever the case. And we're not going to say, we're not going to talk to you about it, but we will talk to you about it. Sometimes we might talk you out of it.
Okay.
So,
Sure.
so don't forget that the markets can go up and down, but that's the reason why the long term, keep the long term in mind. But where we are in the stock market today, we ran to a very nice high. The bull market continued. We thought when the election was going to happen, there were some people that were all worried about, okay, if the new regime gets in, the market's going to tank. Guess what happened? It didn't tank. Okay, that wasn't the issue. Now, if the Senate, 2 Senate seats get filled by Democrats, it's going to tank. Guess what happened? It didn't tank.
Right.
So you needed to keep your game plan, own what you can own long term, and don't try to time it.
Your plan is not political. The markets aren't political.
Yeah, don't let
Great
politics
point.
govern
Right.
your portfolio.
That's a great point, Mike. Absolutely. Mike, talk to me a little bit about diversified income streams, if you will.
Sure. That's why it's important to have, say, Roth IRA money, non-qualified assets, your regular savings, and then qualified, which would be like your IRAs or your 401k, and then pensions and Social Security. You may not want to take it all at one time either. You can say, okay, For this time, I'm going to hold off on Social Security. I'm going to take my pension. I may not even need to take any money out of my portfolio at this point in time. So there's so many different ways to look at it, and collaborating again with your the tax advisor for the clients is very important. Making sure that we know their goals and how to work with them on that. But again, diversifying your income stream from different areas is very important.
Very
Mike.
important, different
I'll add to that.
buckets.
You know, you want to be able to know that at least your normal everyday bills are going to be paid.
Sure.
So there are strategies with conservative money to create an income stream. There are some ways that you might be able to guarantee for life, but everything, there's no one solution. It's a combination of maybe some guaranteed for life, maybe when bonds become a good investment again long term, get some yield on if interest rates rise, maybe you can create a steady income stream from there. Then you've got your investment portfolio that might be stock or a balanced portfolio. You take a strategic, you maybe try to take a lower percentage out of there so that if you do have dips and valleys that happen in your portfolio, you're not pulling into principal when the markets dip. You want to be able to have a steady, and you don't want to be worried when you have those dips that you're going to have to change your life.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah,
Well, Dave,
we don't want
I'm
anybody
sorry.
also to plan on the market being good for them to retire. That's
Sure.
not good.
Absolutely. Dave, we have about a minute left of the show this week. Do you want to tell the viewers one more time what they can expect to receive?
If you call during this show, we will offer Security Financial Management, and our advisors will offer you a free or complimentary. We're going to go with complimentary. Free is not a good word. Complimentary financial plan. It's going to address every aspect of your financial life, from retirement to investments to your risk tolerance to your estate planning. We're going to look at your insurance, and we're going to give you an unbiased view of where you are today. And we call it a financial EKG. In a sense, you're going to come in, we're going to tell you if you're financially healthy. And if you're not, we're going to give you the facts. We're going to tell you the truth. So you just call our show, call in during the show, 877-740-6553, and I think it's on the screen.
It is, yeah.
Call in during the show, and we will provide a complimentary financial plan.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for another amazing show. Most of all, thank you to the viewers at home for spending time with us again this week. That number to call is 877-740-6553. If you have any questions about how to retire comfortably, allow these gentlemen to help guide you in that direction. Be safe, be happy, be blessed. We look forward to seeing you back here again next week. Same location, same time.